This is different.
Are you ready to make room for Daddy?
A little something for Daddy.
I'm stuck in
Make
the
sure
water,
they're good in the
Stepdad.
legs, good in the teeth. A little something for Daddy. Hey guys, it's your favorite final girl and boy, Emily and Nick, and your favorite final Mike, coming at you with a new episode of Gag Me with a Knife, a weekly podcast where we dissect, disembowel, and hit girls. The best and worst slasher movies. It's time to celebrate our daddy again with 1989.
Nick, is this movie about you?
Oh God, no! I kill those things.
Stepfather Ii, Make Room for Daddy.
Wait, is that
No,
real?
no! Shut up!
That's what it's called.
No, it's called Make Room for Daddy.
I didn't.
Emily's gonna read the
Really?
box for Daddy.
After a daring escape from a psychiatric hospital, the stepfather, Terry O'Quinn,
After a daddy escape.
A daddy escape.
A daddy escaped.
He assumes a new identity and sets out in search of another family to marry into and kill. He finds the perfect
As you do.
victims: attractive, recently divorced Carol Grayland and her teenage son Todd, played by Jonathan Mirandis.
Hey, she's
Teenage
played by
Todd.
Meg Foster.
Posing as a warm and caring family therapist named Gene, he appears to be the ideal second husband and father to these two lonely people. But Carol's best friend Maddie, who's played by Stretch from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, suspects that Gene is too good to be true. And when Carol's first husband returns to attempt a reconciliation, he triggers Gene's fear of discovery, sending him off on a psychotic killing spree. Gene secretly eliminates everyone who stands in his way until the day arrives to marry Carol, one of the most unforgettable and horrifying wedding days ever filmed. Your thoughts?
Fucking really?
Yeah.
I bet there's been some scary shit.
Yeah. It
Hungry
is what it
wedding
is, and the way I like it is the way it is.
That's true. It's basically just the first movie again, except for I think that this one's more believable than the first one, because in the first one the kid is the girl that figures out everything.
But she's like 17.
Yeah, but I still don't think she would know how to go through all those avenues. In this one, it's the friend that figures out everything, and the kid just kind of is in the dark, which I would assume that's how it would actually happen if this
You have
happened.
to keep children in the dark. They're better that way.
Yeah, in like total darkness.
Yeah. They're light sensitive.
In a closet.
Yeah.
Addicts,
They're
basements,
photosensitive.
closets.
Get us going, Mike.
All right. So we hear some audio abuse, and then there's
Audio abuse.
What's
Yeah,
audio?
it's like, "Hi, honey, I'm home," and then it's like, "What the fuck you mean you didn't make steak for dinner?
Audio abuse.
Oh,
You don't
yeah.
get your pudding if you don't eat your meat."
Oh, it's. I think it's
then there's scenes
I think
from
that's a
part one.
flashback. No, I think that stuff was a flashback from his childhood, because he never says you didn't eat your meat in
No,
Stepfather.
that's from fucking a Pink Floyd song. I was just saying that shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's from your childhood, kid.
No,
But
you
there
can't
are
get your
scenes.
pudding.
There are like scenes directly lifted
Who
from
doesn't
part
want to
one.
eat their meat? Like the meat is the best part.
It's the best part.
Yeah,
Vegetarians,
girl,
I
eat that
guess.
meat.
But
I've had my cabbage and I'd like some pudding, sir. I don't like meat.
You make pudding for yourself, Mike.
That's batter.
gross.
So
know about
you
it.
see from the first movie where Daddy gets stabbed, and
You see the end of the first one where he's on the staircase and he gets his final kills from Jill Schoelen's character. I can't remember her name in the movie.
what else
but
was she on?
she's in something else that we're going to be covering in the future. I can't.
Well, anyway, he wakes up.
remember
He
right
wakes
now.
up in a storm in his cell, starts fingering his scar, puts on
Why
his
do you always say
glasses,
fingering like that?
and the text tells us it's Puget Sound Psychiatric Hospital, and then it says Puget Sound,
Oh,
Washington.
she was in Cutting Class
Okay.
with Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt's first feature film. We're going to do that at some point.
Is that about dissolving the middle class?
No, it's about cutting.
about
And it's
what's
not about
going on
cutting
right
class
now?
either. She does go to school. I don't know. At the end, though, he's like, "Don't cut class."
It's a docudrama.
Yeah, it's a docudrama of Brad Pitt in the
Sweet.
80s.
Fucking awesome.
I'd fucking watch that.
So, Daddy's visiting his new shrink, and the new shrink wants him to trust him, so he like takes off his cuffs, and he like goes, makes the officer go outside.
He does a bunch of shit he shouldn't do.
Yeah, shit you shouldn't do. He gives him a Camel cigarette. This movie, Stepfather 2's brought to you
He
by
doesn't
Pringles and
like
Camel.
Terry O'Quinn. That character does not do bad. Like he doesn't smoke and doesn't like. He's very.
He's like, I don't even smoke.
What's wrong with smoking?
Then we see him in
nothing except for Terry
It's
O'Quinn.
the shit.
Smoking cigarettes is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
It makes you look cool immediately.
No.
Just look at Paul McCartney.
You guys want to try to quit with me?
Fuck no.
No.
Okay. Well, we
People
see.
are always like, kids are always like, do you vape? Do you vape? And I just like,
Do you
obviously,
even vape, bro?
it's none of their business. So like, I'm like, it's none of your business. But I want to be like, I smoke cigarettes like a real fucking human being.
I mean,
like,
okay, no.
Jesus Christ.
I
Yeah,
date
just
vape, and when I'm on a date, I don't smoke a cigarette.
You're
around her. I
vaping
vape.
right now.
I don't
I'm a
vape,
date
but-
vapist.
We can't smoke in here.
Ben vapes.
I'm vaping right now. I'm at this Miami Mint.
If
By
you
Elf
leave it
Bar.
here,
Brought to you
Elf
by
Bar.
Elf Bar and Camel cigarettes.
Sponsor us, Elf Bar.
New shrinks everywhere. Love Camel cigarettes and give
We'll
it to all
turn
the
the kids on
patients.
to this Miami Mint.
well, they're
Okay.
not going to make Jules anymore. So
So we see the daddy.
Jewel.
Daddy's in the activity room building a model of his house, and then he's talking about how he killed his dog basically by punishing it, and
The ultimate
we
punishment.
see him plotting with hair. That's the only way I can describe it. It's like he's clipping his
I didn't
pubes or
understand
something.
later like how he has hair.
It's because he was collecting.
It to put on the top of his head.
Yeah, so he wouldn't look.
That's
as
what
bald.
that's what I kind of thought, but that wasn't.
'Cause he-
But whatever he made into that haircut that he has later does not look like where he's pulled hair out.
He's also making a shank, but we don't see that until about now because he
He puts it underneath
gets
the
guard out.
dad like figurine that he's using with because the psychiatrist gets freaked out because he's like, you know what happens when when a home is broken, and then he like
He smashes it.
he smashes it, so the psychiatrist like hits the panic button, which makes the cop come in.
The stepdaddy's
but
smart.
but then he picks it up. He's like,
He's
you
like-
rebuild it,
And he sends him back out.
So he's like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing.
Foreshadowing.
Okay, fine. You go leave. He tells the cop to leave, and then he grabs the figurine of the dad, which has a needle underneath.
It looks like a shank. It's like a prison shank.
Well, it says he's killed by a needle. So, whatever.
I can tell you a white person wrote that list.
Yeah, so it's
a fucking shank.
I would. That's what I would call it. Not, but whatever.
A
Anyway,
needle's
yeah.
really thin. This is like, it was bigger than a knitting needle. But
No, it
I've
wasn't.
seen bigger.
I think it was. What do you guys think?
Don't ask us.
Get on our Patreon and we'll listen to what you say.
What
So he stabs the doctor in
What
the
does
back
that
of the
even
Pay
mean?
for us to listen. Hey, that's a good.
So-
That's a good reference for psychiatrists.
After the after the doctor is killed, like
By getting a
Stepdaddy.
like, where is it? He hit him in the
back of the
back
neck.
of the neck. Yeah.
And he hits the guard button again. The guard's like, God damn it, these psychiatrists. And he comes back in there. He gets beaten to death with his own nightstick. And then
I thought the imagery of the needle in the back of the neck was good.
it was good.
That was a good kill.
But Daddy dresses up like the guard, walks out, and you can hear all the shit. Like,
His name's Gene now. Okay.
yeah, it's
He's
not,
Also,
different.
when he
I'm not
killed the guy,
Jerry,
when he killed
I'm
Smitty,
Gene.
that's the cop's name. Like that's his nickname. When he kills him with the nightstick, that did not look like that would kill somebody.
No,
That would just knock him out.
I just imagined he shanked him too. But you got to shank somebody a lot of times. Like
It's
you hear
called
about
a needle, Mike.
You hear about people in jail getting stabbed like 40 times with that shit. So he walks right out of there, even though the alarm's going off and everything. And he goes to the train station. We're in Puget Sound, Washington. He goes to the train station, offers to help some guy like put stuff in his trunk, but then he really puts the guy in his trunk.
Yeah, it's like a traveling salesman.
He offered to help putting something in a dude's trunk.
Which is a smart guy to kill because that guy is
caboose.
traveling around all the time. So, like, who's
Cabody.
going to miss him? You know what I mean? Like, when they do have families, they expect them to be gone for long periods of time. And if most of the time, they don't have a family. So it's like, oh, he's just gone on business.
Yeah. And this was a
So if anyone ever wants to kill somebody, you should probably kill a traveling salesman.
there's a
or
real-
Not as
or
much
maybe a
now.
Jehovah's Witness.
Not as much
Yeah.
now because of cell phones and shit.
Well, Jehovah's
Believe
Witness
in
is still there.
Cameras on every goddamn corner. We ain't got no privacy.
We don't have circuit
Back to
TV
the
like
movie.
the fucking Brits do or something. It's not like that.
Just you wait. Okay, so we see
Just you wait.
in the
Yeah,
bathroom.
so he becomes president and puts video cameras in everybody's fucking bathrooms.
I work for Cobra.
You're spanking
insurance
off. That's
company?
good. Now eat it.
Cobra is not an insurance company. It's
Yes,
the
it is. It's a health insurance company when you can't get anyone else to cover you. Then
It's the
Cobra
bad
covers
guys
you.
in G.I. Joe.
Anyway, okay. Well, you know a lot about
Cobra
life.
Commander and Sons law firm.
Cobra Commander.
So I think the next scene that
Okay.
like stuck out to me is he's doing video dating,
So-
which is not going well.
Come on now. Let me get my thing in. He's got new eye color.
That's what he said.
He's an important. I know this is important to the fucking story. He stops at a hotel in Portland. He puts in some colored contacts. He gets some room service, and he's watching puppets, and then about himself on the news. And then there's a show, Dream House, on, and that's where he hears about this Southern California neighborhood that he ends up going to. And the next thing that does happen is Meg Foster, Carol, the love interest of the daddy. She is showing Clifford Jean his new house, the house he's going to buy, and she ends up living right across the
He's
street.
gonna lease it because the people are like doing a 2-year
Yeah.
thing, and then he can like buy it after 2 years or something like that.
And he tells her he's from Connecticut, and she's like, "Oh, the people leasing this house are moving to Connecticut." Blah. And he's like, wrong part, lady." And we see her skateboarding son.
Jonathan Brandis.
He's in Ladybugs, the Never-Ending Story.
Oh my god! Listen. Ladybugs is one of my favorite movies from
I know
childhood.
him from somewhere.
It was also in C Lab. He killed himself though.
For a second, I was like, "Is that the guy from Silver Spoons?"
No, that's Rick Schroeder. But Jonathan Brandis did kill himself.
He's a pretty-
he
pretty
hung
boy.
himself when he was like
Wait,
8.
what?
Yeah,
He killed himself.
he hung himself.
How long ago?
After C Lab, that show that he was in,
See
like
that 2020?
it wasn't gonna. Yeah, he was in that. He was like
The cartoon?
no, the real one.
Okay.
But
So-
he hung himself. I think.
His mom is trying to spoil him with pizza and baseball cards. So he's like, "That player got traded."
Oh, Sequest. Sorry, he's in Sequest.
C-Lab's a
He was,
adult swim
but he
show.
is part of the 27 Club. He hung himself when he was 27. When like gigs started, I think Sequest got canceled, and then like he didn't have any jobs coming in and got like super depressed, and then he killed
It's like
himself.
Star Trek underwater.
Yeah.
So Meg is after her son's being a jerk at her kindness. Meg sees on the news about They don't show his picture. It's just like a dangerous criminal
Yeah,
broke out of
that-
the
I
news
was like,
today.
I was like, if
show
this
us
guy
what-
was
if
so
they had shown
fucking
the picture
wanted.
on the news, she would have seen it and be like, "That's the guy I just showed the house to and called the fucking cops."
Because he doesn't look that different. Now the
Thanks
third
a
one,
lot, modern news media.
and the third one, since it
Hiding the
is, since
truth.
it's a different actor,
Mike.
he's gotten plastic surgery, but. At this point in time in 1989,
She was
they
like,
had America's
"He
Most
didn't have
Wanted.
green
They had
eyes. It
fucking
couldn't
Unsolved
be him."
Mysteries, and their pictures would have fucking been on that thing.
Yeah.
If you're having a nationwide manhunt for somebody,
Maybe they
they
were
put
about
their
to show it 'cause-
fucking picture up.
They could have showed it because she looks out the window and sees him. And this is when he starts video
Oh,
dating.
she just happens to look away and look at him right when they show his picture. They only put it up there for 2 seconds.
I guess he's been talking to a lot of psychiatrists or psychologists, so he's pretending to be a psychiatrist and using their jargon now.
Yeah, what was it? Oh, he's a real estate agent. He pretended to be a real estate agent in the first one.
The video dating, those girls were awful.
Yeah, they were
It was
really
like,
bad.
It was
What-
like Facebook dating now.
It was like the one of them was like, now
Are you
They said
Facebook dating,
ridiculous
Mike?
shit.
I'm trying to.
What's it like?
Not good. it's like being in Stepfather 2 and you're trying to video date.
Are you trying to kill these ladies?
No.
Ladies, beware. Mike is.
I'm trying to do all the Stepfather shit except the killing.
Oh.
So you're
wait.
trying to get buried.
You're trying to fake a life?
Oh, Mikey's looking for love.
Well, do you think that's what this guy was
guys.
doing in this movie?
Hey, ladies. I've given my phone number. What episode was it in?
You've done it in 2
listeners,
episodes.
you figure that out.
It's A Night to Dismember and Travis's other pick, Invisible Maniac, that just came out. He
Oh,
put it
shit.
in
That's
that.
Travis? What up,
Both of them
dog?
were Travis's
Is he the
episodes.
one that
Ladies,
is he the one that
call
texted
Mike. He needs some
me? Is
love.
Travis the one that texted me?
He's not
No.
gonna kill you.
Who was
That
that?
was just another.
That's just a random listener.
No, he's a Patreon.
Oh, then
but
hell yeah.
like,
How you doing, boss?
not a $5
Hey.
one.
Oh. You need to get up to the next
Even
tier.
you call him. Like, just, I don't know, somebody talk to this
We
guy.
can FaceTime if you go up to the next tier.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
I'm just kidding.
I'm not
I'm
and you can
busy as it
FaceTime with
is.
Mike if you want. If you listen to the episodes and get his phone number.
If you pay a little
Then
extra,
people
he'll
will
FaceTime
quit.
with you while he's at work.
Well, I could be getting paid twice at the same time. Wait, I don't get any of this fucking money.
Technically, you do because the chair you're sitting in, the mic you're using,
Brought to you by
the
Pringles
interface
Light.
and everything. That's what it's. I get. It doesn't even make my fucking minimum
It
payment.
was just a joke.
Saying.
Pretty good one too. Hey, kill me.
I wish someone would.
That was not a suicide joke because I had to go to wake.
Keep giving your number out and somebody will.
It was sad. Nobody's gonna, if they kill me, does that mean they really love me?
No.
Like, isn't love like
No.
the flip side of hate or something?
Well, then they said there's a thin line between love and hate. So yeah.
If somebody gets obsessed
If
with
someone
me,
cares so much that they would kill you,
don't be
yeah, that's
don't
very
be like the
close to
terror
love.
firmer guy. If you love me, just say it. Don't act like a jerk.
Linear, Mike.
Oh, you'll get it someday.
Yeah,
kids.
those dudes who shot us up, that was an
I
act
don't
of
even-
love.
I lost my goddamn spot.
That's a real
It was
kind
because
thing.
I
I know they cared.
think he's
Okay.
talking about in crimes of passion.
Crimes of passion.
Oh my god!
What is-
like when
what
when a
is
husband
this
kills his wife
passion
because
you
she's
speak of?
fucking cheating on him or something. Go on,
All
just
right,
fucking
so
go.
we're at the psychologist lady circle thing at his house. I think it's at his fucking
It
house.
is at his house. He has like I don't even know how he got these women. Like
But this one lady's great. She says that her husband gets angry with her because she couldn't learn how to hum the tunes from Cats while she was blowing him.
What?
well, no. At first, she's like she's like she couldn't learn to hum Cats, and because her husband really liked.
Like the rum.
Her
That's so
husband really
weird
liked
too.
to
Like
hear
the
it.
rum tum
And
tugger
then-
song or
and
something.
then,
Just
like-
like
just buy it on the
Cats or some
record.
shit.
And then he's like, well, if he, that's nice that he likes the way your voice sounds. And she's like, well, but I have to
It's
do it when
just
I'm
humming.
blowing it. Then he's not he's over it at that point. It's like gross.
Dude,
Yeah,
sucking a dick trying to like hum Jellicle Cats must be really difficult.
I don't know any Cat songs.
You've never seen the play?
No.
Not an Andrew Lloyd Webber kind of guy?
Yeah, but I think he kind of feels like the ladies are giggling at him when they're really giggling at her. And this is where we first see Stretch, Caroline Williams playing Maddie. We hear Carol's story about how her dentist ex left her for a 22-year-old receptionist. And she's out gardening, and when Daddy gets home and she goes and helps him pick up the groceries because one of his bags broke. And she's like, oh, just get somebody else to cook for you. I thought she was going to cook him dinner, but no, they just ordered mushu pork. They just ordered some
Sweet,
Chinese. Yeah.
We should pork
And they
sauce.
have dinner with Todd. And
That's Todd is the
I'm
son.
a curry pork.
Todd's
guy.
the son. And he tries to... They're bonding over balls and hammers. Because he's teaching him how to throw a baseball, and he's
Far
teaching him how to
out, man.
nail a nail with a hammer.
Oh yeah, because
And then
Todd's making a lot of noise
Then he
outside.
offers him a
that's why.
big sandwich, a glass of milk, and a whistling lesson where he teaches them how to whistle Camptown races.
Whistling Dixie over there.
Camptown races, sing this song.
Doo-dah, doo-dah. Camptown racetrack 5 miles long.
Somebody
All
bet
dude
on
all
the
day.
bay.
Gonna work all night. Gonna work all day.
Where is the scene coming up where he's like mad in his like workroom and he's just like scribbling make room for daddy
It's-
while he like hammers at something. He's like real mad.
Yeah, I
It's
promise
so
it's coming.
ridiculous.
I promise I'm gonna get there.
It's
Well,
gonna
he
get
had-
there
he-
soon.
The reason they're using the hammers, they end up building a ramp. And
Sweet.
He takes a picture of them, and that's his new target.
Sick.
This is the family he wants to be in. Then we go back to
It's a good picture.
we go back to the ladies' circle, but Carol's not there, and he sees this Phil, her ex, in the driveway with his. Is that a Volvo? I think it's a Volvo.
I don't know. I didn't really
Volvo?
pay
And he acts like he's
attention
sick.
to what car he was
So,
driving.
so Maddie Stretch is talking, and he's like keeps looking out the window. He says he has a headache, right? So she
She can tell he's not paying
she's like,
attention.
yeah, she's like, did you even hear what I'm saying? He's like, it's all written down. So he ends the session early so he can figure out what's going on over at Carol's house. And while he's over there,
Maddie goes back and like looks at his stuff or something
well,
like that.
so he goes to Carol's and he meets Phil. And then he goes back home.
We find out Phil is trying to reconcile with Carol.
Yeah. And he's not even he's acting like, oh, is Todd home? Like, he's not even acting like he's there. He's kind of being a coward. But he goes back across the street, goes downstairs, starts angrily sawing.
That's when he's like, make room for Daddy, huh?
Stretch comes back to get her hat that she left, and he's not answering, so she just lets herself back in to get the hat.
Not a good idea to ever do that.
She ends up snooping in his book and sees there's nothing. He didn't write a single word. It's a blank book. Oh. So,
but he has been like pretending he's writing.
He's pretending to write.
He doesn't even like. You would think he would at least have like scribbles.
He's a good imposter. And he
impressions on the page.
Like, you've just been doing circles or something.
He's really good at seeming normal until he's really
drawing
mad.
Penises or something.
Yeah, there should be like crazy people,
or just like literal, just like lines,
or it's like the
Big
Lebowski. Whenever like he sees Jackie Treehorn, the porn producer, like go to the phone and like write something down, and then like walk off, and he goes over and like traces it like you would, go like smearing the lead all over it, and it's just a little dude with a hard dick.
What about like a collage of
like what could have gone on in that phone call?
Okay, so
sorry about that.
He's downstairs hammering the photo he just took. Like, God damn it. What does he say? He said something.
Make room for Daddy.
Make room for Daddy. Daddy. So he ends up, she's like closing the book, stretches, when Daddy ends up confronting her. And I thought he was going to kill her right there, but she leaves. And then we see Carol telling him that Phil is back and he wants her to send Phil to talk to him so he can check him out, make sure he's okay. So when Phil comes over, he's like, yeah, Carol doesn't love you. She told me to tell you she doesn't love you. And fucking Phil puts out a cigarette on his rug. Which, yeah, I'm sure Stepdaddy didn't like that. And then he's like, oh, I was just kidding. And while they
he was like,
it
was talking, a test. I don't know what kind of test that would be, but he said it was a test.
But while they're talking, Maddie and Carol are also talking, and Carol's like, yeah, that dude's weird. He never gets mail from anybody except like junk and bills. He never gets any letters from Connecticut or whatever. And she didn't mention like, oh, and I saw him fucking breathing hard with a hammer. But go back to...
And also there are no notes in his fucking psychiatrist thing.
Oh, yeah. She could have mentioned the important stuff. But we go back, and Daddy is busting a bottle over Phil's head, and he ends up stabbing him with the rest of it. Death by bottle. Then Carol is on the phone, or she's trying to call. She's like, she calls Daddy, and she's like, is Phil still there? And he's like, yeah, we're just finishing up. Daddy. But then she immediately starts blowing up his hotel room, which is also where, I guess, Daddy has wrapped Phil up in something and taken him to the hotel room.
He puts him in his car, in his own car, and drives.
But he like goes to the hotel room and cleans all of it out, checks out for him and shit. And she's calling the whole fucking time. He goes to this junkyard and starts just like reverse fucking burnouts and then he goes, shit.
And then he ends up writing shit about American Phil.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But when he gets home,
after that is when I think was the first time I noticed. I was like, also, if there's a huge national manhunt for this dude, how does no one recognize him? Why don't they put a picture? Because they don't put a picture up, but that just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, you never see his picture like. In the first one, doesn't he even like have a fake beard and shit?
No. They don't. They do it. This is the same thing in the first one, but I do like that in this one. That I said this already. That the kid hasn't involved himself in the whole movie, making us try to believe that a kid would figure all this out twice.
Yeah. So
like in two different movies, the kid figures all this out. Like I don't think so. Right, also, Mike. This kid's a lot younger than
Mike. Let's go.
Joel Sholin in the first one.
So.
But I did write, stretch your nosiness is going to get you into trouble.
Don't get me in trubs.
And he twists on Camptown races again at some point. I don't know.
I guess he walked all the way from the junkyard home. And when he gets back home, Todd's there, and they're talking about his dad. And he's like, "It's not your fault." And this is
when he teaches him Camptown races.
This is when he teaches him Camptown races.
Yeah.
And then we see sexy male girl, Maddie.
Being nosy.
She's looking at his mail like, what the fuck?
She's nosing.
This mail sucks.
Straight nosing.
And Daddy's like, yeah, Carol, I don't think he's coming back.
But
Then we see his car getting
There's
crushed.
a weird cut.
But there's no blood coming out of the trunk. You think their blood would pop out?
Yeah, you would think so. But there's like a weird cut in between like him being in love and the car being compacted.
Yeah.
Like if he keeps cutting back and forth.
He finally kisses her, and there's this cool thing where the car gets crushed, and she's crumpling up a Lay's potato chip bag. Brought to you by Lay's, Stepfather Ii, Pringles.
And
Eat
then
your
we hear
Camel cigarettes.
they don't use real Rice Krispies, but when he's eating breakfast in the next scene, and he's like listening to the Snap Crackle and Pop, but it's just like a generic Rice Krispie cereal.
Well,
It's
speaking of little bubbles, they're pouring
Snap,
champagne.
crackling.
They're having a cookout, and they announce that they're getting married. Stretch is not into it. She's trying to talk to Carol in the kitchen, and Carol tells her to step off. And Maddie's drinking Miller Lite, official beer of Stepfather II.
Hell yeah.
There's so much product placement in the fucking movie.
Man.
Wonder where they got their money from.
What's wrong with Miller Lite?
So Carol
It's
is like,
Miller time.
oh, right, we just announced our marriage. We're gonna fuck.
What was Spuds McKenzie? Was that Budweiser?
But he won't fuck her.
I don't know.
The dog?
Spuds McKenzie, yes.
The
is
dog?
Budweiser.
Okay.
So,
My next note is when Stretch goes to talk to him.
Well,
Or when he meets up with her.
You keep skipping 5 minutes, so you're just like...
Yeah, because we don't need every single second of the movie talked about. Just
Well,
like
we're
bullet
wasting
points.
time that we could have been...
Let's go,
Like,
Mike.
I'd already be there.
Let's go, Mike.
Well...
Let's go, Mike.
Mail.
Let's go, Mike.
Let's go, Mike.
Mail time. Stretch
Let's
intercepts.
go, Mike. Let's
Stretch
go, Mike.
intercepts. Stretch
He
intercepts.
can't do it. No
Some
one
mail.
can.
There's some mail
Let's
from
get a little
Portland.
bit Mikey, M-I-K-E-Y-I.
I wish we'd hurry up, but
Why?
let's fucking do everything but talk about the goddamn movie. That's what you want to cut down is the talk about the movie, so we can cheer. Okay, so
we can
Stretch
cheer.
gets some mail from Portland. She's like, oh,
So we can cheer.
and it says that it's from a high school, and they're trying to find him for his 25th anniversary. Okay,
The reunion. It's called the
now he's
reunion.
listening to Snap Crackle Pop Crispy Rice. They couldn't get Rice Krispies. They got all these other
All
companies.
these other
Rice Krispies
people.
is like, we're not going to be in a horror movie. We're for kids. But Crispy Rice, they're down.
But he loves that it makes sounds. He has his head down there. He's having a fucking great time
child
with
at
it.
heart. So
Yeah, fucking.
he gets a mysterious phone
serial
call,
killer child.
and we see him meeting Maddie at the park. And it turns out that the guy who's dead guy, because he got it out of an obituary.
Yeah.
This dead guy was black.
Yeah, she was like, this can't. He was
She's
like,
like, it
well,
has a
first, she says
picture.
a few things first. She's like, well, she's asking questions, and he's kind of able to answer them at first, but then.
People change in 25 years.
Yeah, but then
It's
she's
did they
like,
change this much?
she's
It's
like,
an
can you change
all-black
this? And it's an
team.
all-black basketball team, and it's
She's-
like,
but
this
she
is an
should-
all-black school.
She
so-
fucked up. I know she's...
Hell yeah.
She's already seen that he has a weird, wild side. Like, he was sweating with a hammer over her, right? And she doesn't go to her friend and be like, bitch, this is that guy. That's who
Yeah.
he's pretending. She went to him.
Yeah, and I'm like, and then
Like,
she
if she
gives
just been on the
him an
Carol-
ultimatum. I was like, this is why you never give ultimatums, Stretch.
Yeah,
but she
5 o'clock.
tells him that he tells her there's a reason that he lied. I can't remember what the reason was. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But she's like,
'Cause he
either
got
you
stabbed.
tell. He's like, I'll
Right.
tell her today, and she's like, either you tell her by this time, or I'm gonna tell her. So she's giving him an ultimatum, which you
Yeah.
shouldn't do with a fucking serial killer or anyone that's fucking lying about their identity because you don't know why they're lying about their identity. But whatever. Instead of
So-
telling her the truth, he goes home and he fucks her. So
Yeah, he brings her flowers.
That's what you do.
He shows a scar. You know, he's like, oh, getting that sympathy. And yeah, this man, Carol looked really good during this
high
sex
on
scene.
So weird sex scene though, and she also calls him the kindest
Weird
man
sexy.
she's ever known, and that's what I said. Okay, I am sick of women getting a fucking bad rap because these crazy assholes like this. Kindest man you've ever known, then turns on a dime.
That's why you got to get somebody sweet and sour, so you know they're real.
Yeah, I've seen that too, and then they just end up being all sour.
Or you just have bad taste in men.
Shut the fuck up.
That was funny.
It's probably true.
Yeah, well,
You hang
Oh,
out
there
with
was a
us.
cat scare in this movie, though. Thank God.
it's coming up. So Maddie tries
You
to
hang out
call,
with
but
us and we're
Carol's
fucking
asleep,
losers.
right?
What?
And we
What'd
can.
you say?
I said you hang out with us and we're fucking losers.
Yeah, but I'm trying to date y'all.
No, never.
I'm nice.
I'm not trying to date you, Mike.
No, Mike's trying to date Brad.
Yeah, Mike's trying to date Brad.
Brad
Will be here soon. Why do we know Brad's your friend?
Brad's arriving.
He wants him to be a special friend.
Yeah, we got something special coming from y'all for y'all Patreons. Okay, so Pringles is on the table, Pringle Light, and she's on the couch. She wakes up cold because the window's open. She's like, "What the fuck?" She hears a noise.
You're talking about a Stretch, aka
Stretch
Maddie.
is on the couch. Yes. She grabs a letter opener and she's kind of walking around being scared. And it turns out, she hears the noise again. It's the cat in the
I fast forwarded through some of that scene because it was way too much cat and mouse.
Literally, because there was a cat in the trash can. And she ends up getting strangled from behind. I thought strangling looked really better than most movies.
It did, and also when it shows her hanging, but when it shows her body hanging,
did it give you a chub?
It's supposed to look like a suicide, and it looked really real.
Good.
It was.
So he finds
really
his mail, and so he can hide his tracks. He types a suicide note while she is hanging behind him, and then he steals wine, which is a big.
Okay, the wine is something that Carol and Maddie have drank earlier in the movie, and it's this special wine that Maddie's parents send her. So that's important to know because that's how that's one of the reasons that she's going to realize that he killed Maddie basically later on.
So he steals the wine.
In the next scene.
He gets scared by an old man because he goes through Maddie's backyard into the next door neighbor's backyard.
Oh, he went up the backyard.
Because she lives like 2 doors down or something.
This old blind man's like, "Who's there?" And he just runs. After
he's whistling.
He'd been whistling. Camptown Racing.
Yeah, he's
Somebody bet on the bay.
Yeah, he's whistling that.
He comes back to Carol and she's like, "Where have you been?" He's like, "I had to go get some seconds." He shows her the wine, and she's like, "Where the hell did you get wine this late at night?" He's like, "I have my secrets." "Yes, you do, sir." And then we see Maddie getting taken away by the medicos, and Carol gets a phone call, I guess, where she finds out Maddie's dead. But then as they show a picture of the church, which I guess is the funeral, and then they're at her empty house
because the blind man comes over.
The blind man kind of starts tapping. And he says that he heard something.
Tapping on the door, you mean? He's
tapping on the window. He's like,
blind
he's like, she had a lot of boys over, but most of them didn't leave in the middle of the night. He's like, and this guy was whistling a real old song I ain't heard in years. Goes, doo, 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 doo. That's my old man impression. And Carol's like, they're leaving, and she's like, "Who would be whistling Camptown Race?"
I don't know a lot of people.
I mean, that's probably the most honest question anyone could ask. Like, who would be doing that?
I don't know.
She's like, I don't know. But she says,
I would almost be mad if I was sitting on my porch and like somebody was walking down the street and was like.
I have a coworker.
I'd be like, "Get them! They're fucking crazy!" Like,
I have a coworker who used to call Camptown Races.
Like the circus thing. Asked you.
Hi, Campbell.
What's that?
Like, so
it reminds me though of when you said that if someone asked you on the street what the four elements of physics are, and you said you would walk away from it.
That's one of
someone asked you that you're like, "I'll give you $100," they just asked you if you could name them. You're like, even if I knew what they were. And someone asked me that, I would walk away.
I mean, that's got to be one of them. Is physical repulsion.
Psycho.
Yeah, like, fuck you, dude. Like, no, if somebody just walked up, I'd be like, okay, somebody's weird and not in a cool way, man.
Like, you're like already digging in your pocket for change. And you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I would never do this, but that'd be one of those things of just dropping change. Like, I got to get away from this psycho.
Yeah, who's asking me about this? Yeah. You can go on, Mike.
All right,
no,
so Carol really latches onto this new clue. She's like, "I don't think I can get married until we got to find somebody that whistles that song so we could." It was maybe a murder or something. And he's like, "I really want to make." He's real manipulative. He's real manipulative, real quick. Like,
I think
let's just go to the courthouse.
I think the level
and
of her.
Like, I want the whole 9 yards, Daddy.
Yeah, I think the whole thing of her being like, "We need to figure out who whistled this song" is a little okay.
So she's like. At first, she's kind of like, "I want to postpone the wedding," but the next scene is the wedding. Here we are, and we get the wine clue because Maddie's mom and dad sent a case of that wine. She's like, "Oh, that looks familiar." You can tell it takes a minute for it to click in. It clicked for me quicker than it did for Carol.
Well, it doesn't really click all the way. It doesn't really click all the way until she hears Todd whistling.
Yeah. So
Tail
we see
races.
Todd getting his bow tie tied by Jerry, Terry,
Gene.
Gene.
Terry O'Quinn's his real name. That's not one of his old names.
His whole name is Jerry Terry Gene. I'm telling you.
No, it
So
isn't.
yeah, I wrote wine and whistling because it just clicks
It's
to
Jerry
it.
Blake, Gene F. Clifford, and formerly Jerry Blake, Henry Morrison, Bill Hodgkins.
And then at the same
Jerry
time,
Blank from Strangers
It
with Sandy.
says Jerry Blake.
at the same time that his
Semi-
mom hears the whistling, Gene also hears the whistling, and he's going towards it. But the mom gets there first. She's like, "Hey Tom, come here. Where'd you hear that?" And I couldn't really tell if he
Todd.
heard her telling. I don't think he did.
I don't think he got there because he gets put in
Well,
the
he comes
closet.
up right when he's telling the mom.
Yeah, I think he's about to tell her, and he throws him in the closet.
But then there's a conversation, and she's like, "The wedding's off, dude." This
Also, I wrote wedding crashers. Am I right?
but he loses his shit.
That was my last note of it.
Tom's still like fingering the ring, and
Tom Selleck.
Todd is still.
Todd's
He keeps
fingering.
He's the ring bearer,
Todd
and he
fingering.
keeps fucking around with the
Hi,
ring.
I'm Todd Fingering Jr. Attorney at law. Ronnie Deutsch.
So stepdaddy is beating the shit out of mom, and Todd hears, and he goes in there and gets chased by Gene, Jerry, and he locks himself in a closet, right? And Gene,
I didn't see that. I couldn't tell if he got locked in there himself or if someone locked him in there.
I think
or if
he locked
did.
himself in there.
No, because
not on
he-
purpose at first. But
Okay,
then there's good that
'cause he
it
says he
was.
can't get
He has
out.
to use that hammer to unhinge the door.
Yeah, but
That's
I
how he
didn't.
gets out.
That's why I
he's
didn't
locked
know
in
if
there.
I thought maybe Gene put him in there.
I think because at first Gene was trying to get in there, but Carol's like, "Oh, he's fucking with my kid," so she comes running, and Gene tackles her over a table. It looked pretty hardcore, and she forks his hand to the table. Todd finds the hammer, gets it as she's stabbing him, but he pulls the knife out as he's talking shit. Stepdaddy pulls the knife out he just got stabbed with, and it looked like it was right in the heart. Like it was like.
Yeah,
Can
I must
you
have
do
like
that?
missed about
Can
like
you get-
half of it.
It's like on his left side. Can you
Inch.
get stabbed in the heart and just pull it out and still be menacing? I don't know. But this is when Todd shows up and he knocks the knife out of Daddy's hand. And he sticks the hammer sharpened in that you would pull nails out with into the chest of Daddy. And he checks on his mom. She's okay. You see the crowd getting antsy. And then they see the bottom of the wedding gown. So here comes the bride comes on. And it's like, oh shit, she's bloody as fuck. And then Gene has stood up and he's like walking a few paces before he collapses in that back room. And Carol collapses on the stage.
The end.
He dies, I guess.
Well,
But
yeah,
there's
yeah. I mean, he died in the first one too, but kill count. One is
Kill count.
Dr. Joseph Danvers. He has the back of his neck impaled with a needle at almost 11 minutes. 2 is Ralph
Shiv.
Smith,
It's a shiv shame.
whose head is
Shiv shank.
bludgeoned twice with a nightstick
Shiv
at
shank
11 minutes
redemption.
and 30 seconds. So that's 30 seconds later.
Rita Hayworth in the Shiv Shank Redemption.
3 is the random traveling salesman who's killed and put it. We don't see how he's killed. He's killed and put into a trunk at 13 minutes.
He gets his hands crushed.
Yeah, I mean, we
To
see that,
death.
but like, I don't know otherwise. 4 is Phil Grayland. He's impaled 5 times with a broken bottle at around 40 minutes. 5 is Maddie Crimmins, who is strangled with a bathrobe and hung from the ceiling at 1 hour and 5 minutes. And then the 6th and final death is Jerry Blake / Gene F. Clifford / the stepfather, formerly Jerry
Daddy.
Blake, Henry Morrison, and Bill Hodgkins in the first movie. He has his hand impaled to the table with a carving fork, his chest impaled with a kitchen knife, and a hammer claw driven into his chest at 1 hour and 23 minutes. Okay.
Can't
So-
kill Daddy.
This is a Weinstein production, I'm pretty sure. The budget was
Party time.
the estimated budget was $1,500,000. It grossed $519,796. It was intended to be a direct-to-video, but producers were impressed enough to give it a limited theatrical release, which probably explains some of the reasons it didn't make as much as it probably would have if it had been like more widely released. Yet, because it still, I mean, it made it back its budget barely, but they still released another sequel 3 years later with Robert Whiteman and Terry
The
O'Quinn.
video
It's
probably they probably theatrically made the money back, and the video put it over the hump, I would think.
Probably, but I mean, I've seen movies make a lot more of their budget back and not get a sequel.
Yeah.
Like Pieces. or I don't know, a ton of fucking movies.
Pieces.
Probably even Scream 1981. It made like over $1 million. That couldn't have cost that much to make.
Yeah.
Okay, so the director Jeff Burr was famous for horror sequels such as this one. He also directed Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Yeah.
Puppet Master.
Is that also the Saw's family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Puppet Master 4 and 5, and Pumpkinhead 2.
Blood
Okay,
Wings.
so he also made Mel Mascaris
He
versus
also
Aztec
directed
Mummy.
From A Whisper to a Scream with Vincent Price, 1995's Night of the Scarecrow, and 2006's Devil's Den with Devin Sawa and Ken Foray. But that didn't really mean anything, because Ken Foray will be in fucking anything.
Dude, let's get him to be an R movie.
So it's after a yeah, it is a Weinstein production, because after a
Emilyville horror.
After a test screening of the film, studio executives Harvey and Bob Weinstein complained about the lack of blood and demanded reshoots. Jeff Burr refused, and director Doug Campbell was hired to do the reshoots. In an interview, Burr commented they cut a little bit of the film out, and they added some badly done blood effects, badly done because Terry O'Quinn refused to do it. Really, they were meaningless, so that was irritating. Apparently, the same thing happened.
What on Google it said an hour and 33 minutes. The version I watched was an hour and 27 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know.
And there's another an hour 25.
So apparently the same thing happened with Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Did I miss Stretch's tits in this movie?
Huh? No tits.
Did that get cut?
Yeah.
Where's Meg Foster and Caroline Williams?
Anyway, the
breasts?
same thing happened to the same director when he did Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, kind of.
That's one with Vigo.
The test audiences responded positively to Ken Foray's
Viggo
character,
Mortensen.
so the studio brought in editor Michael to
Cucci.
shoot a new ending which focused on the character. Burr, frustrated by the changes, asked that his name be removed from the final film, but was denied on the basis that film prints had already been struck, which listed him as the director. So he was attached to the film after other directors such as Peter Jackson dropped out. So he had a little time to prepare. So Leatherface was. I was just saying that this kind of shit happened to him a lot. Like they would do reshoots of his movies.
This is and Night of the Scarecrow. That's not Dark Night of the Scarecrow. It's just regular
Dark Night of the Scarecrow came out in the 80s.
Light
Night of the Scarecrow came out in 95. Okay, Meg Foster, who played Carol, was in They Live, Masters of the Universe. She's been on 2 fucking Rob Zombie movies. Lords of Salem and 31. She was in
Did you say
Salem's the only one I like?
Oh no, dude.
She was in Jeepers Creep. No, I said she was Rob. I was doing it to Rob Zombie.
Oh.
Did you say Shrunken Heads?
Hold on. She was also in Jeepers Creepers 3. She was Hera in Xena and Hercules. Almost wasn't cast. Apparently, for this movie, she almost was not cast because of her striking light blue eyes. I don't know why.
I think it's pronounced Hera.
I think they're great.
Yeah, I do too, but I don't know why you wouldn't.
Because it's so noticeable.
I guess. So, do you have anything else you want to add that she was in?
The Shrink at the beginnings and Satan's Princess.
Oh no, I wasn't done.
With Meg Foster.
Yeah, I was done with Meg Foster.
She's in Carney and Leviathan and the Wind.
Caroline Williams, who played Stretch in TCM2, Leprechaun. She was also in Leprechaun 3. She was in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, gross, and she was in Hatchet 3.
She was just in that new Nick Cage Renfield movie.
Terry O'Quinn apparently.
Gwen Danzig's Veronica.
Go on with your with the other cast things.
I've heard it's horrible.
Todd's in It and the Neverending Story. Phil, the husband, was in Runestone. And
he
Hand That
looked
Rocks the
really
Cradle.
noticeable, but I didn't recognize anything.
He's in Hand That Rocks the Cradle. He's like.
I only saw that when I was little. So.
Sally, the blowjob woman, was in Leatherface, so she must.
You only saw the Hand That Rocks the Cradle when you were little.
The director.
Yeah.
The guy who plays
That's beautiful poetry.
So the guy who played Smitty is in this movie called Zadar, Cow from Hell, that I've got to see. He's also in Grunt, the wrestling movie, and Memorial Valley Massacre.
Doesn't matter.
Memorial Valley Massacre matters. It's one of the other movies. Sam, the old man, was in Waxwork 2.
Like cool trivia, but
Demon Seed, Last Starfighter, and Airplane.
I love The Last Starfighter. The Last Starfighter is one of the best fucking films ever.
That's why I mentioned it.
Terry O'Quinn ad-libbed a lot of his dialogue, which I found hilarious because a lot of it was really fucking stupid, like "Make room for Daddy," saying that over and over.
Yeah, that was weird.
The makers of this movie originally had Kay Lentz and Susan Hubley in mind for the role of Carol. Hubley did, however, play Jennifer in Stepfather 3. Carol had a daughter and a dog in an earlier draft of the script, which makes sense since that was kind of like I think they wanted a boy probably because the first one had a girl. Apparently,
Brandis is like, I don't want any fucking siblings. I want to play only children.
Apparently, Jeff Burr was contacted to direct the film before the script was even written for it. So I don't know why, but anyway, Brian Austin Green, who was famous for being David in Beverly Hills 90210, was originally up for the role of Todd, which was given to Jonathan Brandis. And the movie was made in 4 months, which, by the way, seems like a long time, to be honest, compared to a lot of other slashers that are better but have less of a budget. This is more of a thriller, though, so... it is more of like a psychological thriller, and so is the first one. So
yeah, absolutely. The like, especially the first one, like that's the beauty of it. It's kind of different.
So what do you rate this?
I'm gonna rate it exactly what I rated the first one, just a little less because I've seen the first one, and it's like that's how it is. Like it's exactly the same.
So what did you rate it the first?
I can't remember, but it's going to be that.
Like,
so everybody listen to that first one.
Probably like 2.
No, everybody listen to the first one. I like the first one. So.
I gave this one a 3 out of 5 because I gave the first one a 3.5.
Man.
And I thought it was good. I thought it was well directed.
I'm going Gentleman's 3, but it's because of Caroline Williams and Meg Foster just chewing up. I love to look at those ladies.
Meg Foster's beautiful.
They're beautiful women, and they're good at what they do, which is like genre film. They're the queens. And
I thought the acting was really good.
I thought it was tight.
Great.
There was no really holes except for the fucking news not showing his picture.
That annoyed me.
But that would kill the movie.
There was a little bit
the movement over 5 minutes.
The scene where
and Maddie,
Stretch is being chased went on for a little.
Giving the guy a shot before she goes to her friend. She's like, check this shit out.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb. Also, her kill scene went on a little too long. The chase went on a little too long for me. And then from that
it could have
point,
been more strenuous.
Like from her body being found to the wedding, like there was no reason for. I mean, whatever. I guess there was reason for the blind guy coming back because he had to tell them about
3 for me, 3 for you.
I know 3. Yeah, 3. It's probably like a 2.5.
Stay gagged on Camel cigarettes, Pringle Light, Miller Light.
Stay gagged on your daddy.
Stay gagged on that chick from fucking.
Yeah, stay gagged on stepdad.
She's hot. She's got weird eyes.
Meg Foster.
Yeah,
Meg Foster.
I would eat her hair out of the bathtub.
Dude,
gross.
Out of the drain.
You're wondering why like no dating apps are doing well for him. He's like, because he'd eat their hair out of like the drain. Like what the
fuck? A lot of weird shit, man.
Yeah, I wonder why you shit on a puppy pad. Anyway,
that's why it's weird.
My hairball, Mikey hairballs come out of my ass.
Because you've been eating hair out of the drain.
Everybody likes eating hair, right?
He goes into the sink at his work and just like picks out the hair.
As long as it's a decent looking lady, hair.
It's a compliment that I would eat hair.
That's a consumable
hair. I don't eat Mitchell's hair. Gross.
He said it's a
that means he does because he mentioned a person.
He just said he said it's a compliment that I would eat her hair. I wouldn't eat Mitchell's hair.
Well, I'm saying
it's supposed to be a
because
compliment.
she's so beautiful.
Okay, I'm gonna go tell you this right now. Do not try to compliment a woman by telling them to eat their hair. That will not work.
That's why no one's calling you.
Check this out. The other day I gave a compliment.
That's why you're on Facebook dating.
I saw a pretty picture of a girl and I texted her. I was like,
"What?"
I was like, "I'm gonna put."
Did you know this lady?
I'm gonna put my eyes out so that your picture is the last thing I see.
What did you wait? Dude. Say it again.
She's like, "Yeah, I'm not dating."
What did you?
She put a new profile picture, and I was like, I'm tempted to put out my eyeball, poke out my own eyeball. So this is the last vision I ever see.
Oh my God, Mike!
What the fuck, dude?
It was a joke.
I'm no Casanova, but what the fuck?
You don't know them, Mike. You can't just say that.
No, I did know them.
You said that to somebody you knew in a dating reference.
I mean, a joke.
Yeah, there's a reason they're not dating.
If you said that to me, I would be like, I mean, I'll probably have a little more lenience with you, but I'd still be like, you're fucking weird.
Don't worry.
Thanks a lot, Mike. So not only are you being a creepy, you're also insulting me. So thank you.
Wait, I was insulting myself. I just don't want to.
Rude.
Stay gagged on self-deprecation.
Yeah, stay gagged on Father's Day. So happy Father's Day, and stay gagged on all of our social media, Instagram,
stay gagged
TikTok,
on Daddy.
Gag Me with a Knife podcast,
father,
TikTok, Gag Knife Pod. Become a Patreon for member shout-outs, early access to episodes, bonus exclusive episodes, and fan-requested episodes at www.patreon.com/gagmewithaknifepodcast. And buy our merch at gagmewithaknifepodcast.com. We'll see you next time. Happy Father's Day. Fuck you. Bye.
Mike, we got to talk.
Hey there, little slugger, how do you do? I'm the man who lives next door. Sure is nice to meet you. I could be a good daddy too. You, does your mama live alone? I'll be the best she's ever known. I'll be a good daddy. Yeah. Hey there, lady. My name is Salesman Joe. I noticed that you live alone with your little boy and girl. I could chop some wood for you. My axe is in the car. Or maybe me and you, babe, could start a great big fire. I could keep you warm at night. I know how to treat you right. I'll be a good daddy, yeah. Then I woke up this morning, I just had to kill my wife. I hit her with some telephone or poke her with some knife. Don't make no difference to me. Any little tool will do me. I've been a bad daddy today. I just turned around, my whole family was gone. I've been a bad daddy. To all the girls I've loved before, who traveled in and out my door, I was a good daddy. Once in a while, I knew how to make them smile. But then snap, crackle, pop, I'd go over the top, turn into a bad daddy fast, yeah.
Beautiful.
Thanks
really,
a lot.
it's inspiring stuff. Beautiful material. Well, let's get to the Big Five countdown. I'm just so deeply moved I can't go on.